Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are in the world. Holton Bugs here. HB is in the house from Houston, Texas. And I want to make sure that I've got an audience out there that can actually hear me. All right, I see, we've got a lot of our participants that are joining right now. I want to welcome everybody to this beginning session of the June Success Series. That means that all 4 Sundays, starting today, next Sunday, the Sunday afterwards, and the final Sunday of the month of June, I will be doing a success series on our Millionaire Mentorship call. So we still have it termed as our Millionaire Mentorship call. It's just happened to be a series that I'll actually be doing. So I want to welcome you to the call. I want to give a few people just a little bit more time to join us on our call. I know we're having this on Facebook Live as well. Many of you who are joining us there. Some of you who are joining us on Zoom. Welcome to the call. And I guess you go ahead and get your notepad so that you can get ready to really take notes on what this series is all about. This basic instructions on how to succeed in Organo, how to actually prepare yourself to lay down a foundation and a platform for going diamond. And I'm very excited to be on this call. So we'll give everybody a little more time. And if you have a moment now to text someone, message them, whatever you've got to do to let them know, hey, listen, we've got another call coming up here, Millionaire call that's coming up, and let's get ready to rock and roll. So hopefully you've got your favorite beverage in your cup. I've got mine. I'm sitting right here in my office right now. And if you guys probably noticed, I still haven't put that picture up that I talked about a couple months ago. So my wall is still bare, but I am here. I've got my favorite beverage in my cup, which is an Organo latte that is in my cup right now. And very excited to share some stuff tonight that I know for a fact is going to have a huge impact on all of you if you take the information and absolutely run with it. We're jumping off in June in a major way, major way. And let's just see here in the Diamond chat, if you can hear me and see me properly, somebody shoot me a message in the Diamond chat and let me know that that I can be heard and I can actually be seen here. Let me see if I can get a little bit more light as well. Give me one moment. I'll be right back. All right. I think we are ready to rock and roll here. Let's see here. All right, just got one of my reminders here. Do I see anything here in the Diamond chat? Want to make sure. Yep. Everybody says sound is good, video is good, loud and clear. They can see and hear. Thanks, Dr. Bob. Thanks, Carlos, Casey, and all of you who are chiming in right now. Well, guys, I'm ready to rock and roll. Good evening again, good morning, good afternoon, no matter where you are. I know we've got people all over the place and all different parts of the world that are actually chiming in for this month's success series. And one of my goals for this success series is really to have our audience be able to build much bigger each week that we do this series. Oftentimes when I do a call or when a brand new thing comes around, whether it's a new call or whether it's a new methodology, a new piece of technology that you're using, normally the very first day sometimes is where your peak is, and then it kind of tapers off from there. One of the things that I'm going to ask each person that's on this call here, because we're positioning ourselves for massive success, positioning ourselves for increase right now, is I want you to pay close attention, and I want you to put effort into this. Let me not be the only one who's doing the work. Yes, I am going to be preparing. I am going to be here giving the best that I can on these calls, but I don't want to be the only one who's doing the work. I want you. This is a call for you. And I'm saying that for me as well. I've got a lot of work that I've got to do, but this is a call for you. And what you've got to do is you've got to help me out. I need your help. How do I need your help? I need you to spread the word every single Sunday, you spread the word and make this particular call and series continue to grow. And what my goal is that by the fourth call that we have, my goal is that the call on the fourth week is at minimum twice as large in terms of total participation. And we've got participation on all different levels. We've got participation on Facebook Live. We got participation on Zoom. We have some who are calling in from an audio profile or whatever it may be. But my goal is to be able to watch the numbers and see that our numbers actually double at minimum. And why is that? Because I want to share with you the process of being able to double. The process of being able to double. And see, doubling your volume is nothing more than doubling all of the small increments that make up your volume. And it's not necessarily just the sales. It's the phone calls. It's the invites. It's doubling up on your edification. It's doubling up on your prospecting. Doubling up on so many different things. One way to double your volume, let's just say if you had everybody who drank 1 cup of coffee a day, they start drinking 2 cups a day. And guess what happens? Your volume doubles. And so what we're going to do is pay attention to what did you do this week here in terms of promotion for the call. And next week, we're going to double that activity. And the other thing that we're going to have is obviously because we have actually started the process of increasing our recruiting efforts. The recruiting efforts in Organo has been increasing, which is great, which is wonderful. I'll talk about a little bit of that later on, maybe not on this call here, but within the series, I'll get to discuss some of the things that we've been tracking, what's happening. We've got great stuff that's going on right now, specifically with regard to recruitment and volume that is attached to recruitment as well. Sometimes you can have recruitment that is attached to either no volume or small volume. But what we've done with some of the things that we've been able to do at the corporate office from the sales and marketing department, from a promotional standpoint, we've been able to look at these promotions and say, wow, we've actually seen a huge difference in the volume that comes in related to recruiting. And we're very, very excited about that. It's a lot of positive things that are actually going on and some pretty big things that are in the mix. It's all I can tell you. Pretty big things that's in the mix. Don't ask me what. Don't ask me when. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me where. All I can say is that Organo is poised for some pretty big things to take place. And we're not talking about a long time from now. And I'm not here talking some hocus pocus or some new coffee that will sell or a new, new coffee cup or mug or anything like that. But some very, very big things that have been actually happening in the underpinning of Organo, which I'm very, very excited about. So the thing I will share with you is to continue forward with your efforts. Remember, the goal is to double. The goal is to double. Now, what I want you to do as well is this. I want each person that's watching this call right now, paying attention, I want you to go back and I want you to look at your May results. I want you to be able to look at your May results. Why? Because many of you, the majority of you who are on this call, you're in a position where you not only can double, you can actually triple your volume. Now, when I'm looking right now at some of our diamonds and blue diamonds and black diamonds that we have there, maybe it may be a little bit difficult for them to double their volume in 1 month, because the larger your organization grows, the smaller percentage of increase that you have makes a drastic difference. A drastic difference. Let me give you an example. If right now your volume last month was 5,000, and let's say you went platinum last month, you were a brand new platinum, and congratulations, we had a lot of platinums that I know we had last month. I'm getting some text messages and emails of brand new first month platinums that have come into Organo. I want to say congratulations to you. Now remember, as a platinum, that's 5,000 in volume. It could have been that you had 5 people in your business that joined at the gold pack level and you just got started. So that's going to be a little bit more than just platinum volume, a little bit more than 5,000 in volume that you'll have. But nevertheless, you're platinum. See, it's much easier to go from platinum to double, from platinum elite, which is 10,000 in volume. You can do that. But it's not as easy for a diamond. Let's just say a diamond is doing 400,000 in volume and they want to go to 800,000. If they did 400,000 in May, it may be a little more difficult to get to 800,000 in the month of June, okay, in the month of June. Why? Because it's a lot larger of a number. So the people who are in here and you've got smaller volume in comparison, I want you to know that you've got an advantage of being able to double in the month of June. Jumping off to a month of June, you've got an advantage of being able to double your volume. You can do it every single month. Once you start hitting somewhere between, I'd say really emerald. Emerald is when it becomes a little bit more difficult. That's when you now start to employ a little bit more of leadership strategy that actually allows you to double your volume. But when you're at the very beginning stages, which is the majority of us that's on this call right now, who have smaller beginning businesses, there's not a lot of leadership that's required to double. It's really more activity that's required in order to double your efforts. Activity things that's going to double your efforts. So I wanted to give you that little caveat, because by the end of this month, by June, the end of June, my goal is for you guys to have doubled. Now, here's the thing that I want you to understand. I want you to understand why and when organizations grow. Whether it's a small organization, whether it's a large organization, it doesn't matter whether it's a new organization or whether that organization is quite mature, meaning that they have been there for a while. Those organizations that grow are the organizations that are in what I call focus. Focus. If you take a look at the acronym for the word focus, F-O-C-U-S is how you spell the word. Focus, the acronym can be used: follow one course until successful. F-O-C-U-S. Follow one course until successful. And that's really going to be the theme of the very first call as we do this success series, is following one course until successful. Many of you who are part of this company right now, celebrating our 10th anniversary this year, number one, I'm excited because very few companies ever get to participate in a 10-year anniversary when it comes to the network marketing world. Well, you are part of a company who is celebrating their 10th anniversary in the network marketing world. And I don't know what the percentages are, but I know it's very, very, very small percentage of companies who are able to say, hey, listen, I'm celebrating our 10th anniversary. But following one course until successful. One of the things that I want to do in this session here is that some of the information that I'm going to share is going to be brand new information for all of the brand new people who are here. Some of the information, however, is going to be what I call rehearsed information, information that you're already familiar with. Now, one of the things that people get excited about is to hear something called new information, new ideas, new strategies, new methodology. Most people get so fired up about something new, learning something new. But here's the challenge. The majority of us get fired up about learning something new prior to mastering the old information that we've actually been exposed to. And so the majority of people in network marketing, and I want to share this with you because this is something that I've studied over the years. It's been 28 years that I've been involved in this industry. September will be 28 years that I've been involved with this industry. And I want to share with you why some people succeed and why some people don't succeed. Why some people have what I call seasonal success and why some people have a career pattern of success. Because the majority of people get excited about new things when I've given you an example before and let you know that successful people get good at things that are boring or things that are repetitious, things that are mundane, things that you must do over and 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 over again. See, I'm the type of person that when I go to Baskin Robbins or, ice cream, they have the 31 flavors. Why do they have the 31 flavors at Baskin Robbins? Because they understand that the majority of the people get bored with the same old vanilla ice cream. And so Baskin Robbins has made a successful blueprint off of people who have a habit of not being committed or focused or following one course until successful. Now, I don't want you to get all upset if you go to Baskin Robbins and if you've experienced all 31 flavors. You can be successful at Organo as well. But Baskin Robbins understands that that's the majority of people. See, you got what we call the top 5%, 5%ers. 5%ers are completely different. They're rare. You don't see them every single day. If you were to go out and you see 1,000 people that will be in your peripheral, there's only going to be 50 of those people that you'll be able to identify as somebody who has a possibility of being a top achiever in their particular career field. But you've got 950 others. You know what they want? They want what's called the flavor of the day. That's why Baskin Robbins has been successful, because they understand that they're catering to a mentality of people who don't follow one course until successful. My goal through this series is to be able to get you to go from 31 flavors to identifying one flavor. So when I actually go and I get ice cream, actually I don't go to Baskin Robbins so often. I go to not Cold Stone, but Marble Slab is the one that we have here. Now Marble Slab, they've got probably about 15 different flavors. And I don't know how 14 of the flavors taste. Why? Because when I found the flavor that I like, I stick with it. I stick with that flavor. It's sweet cream with strawberries and pecans. That is my ice cream. That's what I get. Over the last 15, 20 years, I've not had one different flavor. Why? Because I know that that's the one that works for me. I'm not interested in trying the new birthday cake ice cream. I'm not interested in trying the new blueberry ice cream. I'm not interested in trying this new Oreo stuff that they have and strawberry Oreo ice cream that they have. Now, as I'm mentioning, don't feel bad if you experience all of these different flavors. I'm just using this as an analogy. Okay, I was watching it as I was thinking about this. I was watching one of our diamonds, Rod Smith. He's a junk food junkie, and everybody's been sending him all of these flavors of Oreo cookies. And I was like, wow, I didn't even believe they made that many flavors of Oreo cookies. But I'm the same one with that. Vanilla Oreos is the only flavor I've ever tasted. The dark chocolate Oreo, don't know how it tastes. All the other ones, don't know how it tastes. One flavor, okay? One flavor. Why is that? You guys know my philosophy. My philosophy is how you do anything is how you do everything. How you do anything is how you do everything. Successful people are okay with things that are boring. If you ever take a look at professional athletes, they normally have a warm-up session with how they warm up. And many of them do the exact same routine over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. While I'm speaking of Rod as a professional athlete, I'm sure Rod will let everybody know, if you ask him, what did he eat before every game? I won't spill the beans because it doesn't sound like what an athlete would normally eat. He's a junk food junkie. But it was the same thing after every single game, the same exact routine, every single time. When I go up to speak in front of an audience of people, I say the same thing to myself every single time. I love my audience and my audience loves me. I love my audience and my audience loves me. Why? Because I know that it works. It's my rhythm. I'm following one course until successful. I'm not interested in trying a new methodology over here or over there. And so the reason I'm bringing you into the fold with this is because I want you to at least understand that in order for you to move from the 95% into the 5%, you're going to have to put Baskin Robbins away. I'm talking about the Baskin Robbins in terms of methodology. We don't need 31 flavors of this is how you prospect this week, and next week you're going to use strawberry prospecting. Next week you're using raspberry prospecting. Next week you're using butternut squash flavor of prospecting. And that's what happens to the majority of people. You follow one course until you are successful. Now, I am not here to say that the methodology that I use is the only way to become successful. Because Baskin Robbins sells 31 flavors, it means that everybody likes those flavors. Okay? Somebody likes those other flavors. But we're not trying to build an ice cream shop here. We're looking to build a dynasty of residual income for our families. That's what we're doing here. We're building a dynasty of residual income for our families. You know, here's the thing that I know. In Organo for the last 10 years, let me share with you what has happened, what has become a trademark, what has become something that has identified Organo. This right here. When I put up this one finger and I have a shirt on that has something to do with Organo, I don't have to say anything to anybody. This right here means something. I don't have to say it's easy, it's simple, it's Organo, or it's easy, it's simple, it's coffee. All I've got to do is have something on with Organo and somebody out there who has actually seen the business, seen the plan, drink our coffee. They know when this is up, they know that this means Organo. This means 1% of the industry. See, it's not this or this or this or this right here. We don't have 31 different flavors or 31 different signs to identify what our goal is. This is why everybody knows what it is, because we've chosen one methodology of a signal for success. One methodology. And so if you're going to go from A to Z, but you're going to use different methodologies, you're going to introduce something called confusion. And a confused mind does nothing. Have you ever seen a person who goes to Baskin Robbins? And I don't know how I get on Baskin Robbins. I was not even planning to talk about Baskin Robbins. But you know me, guys. I use analogies and I just share it like it is and it comes to me. But have you seen the person who goes to Baskin Robbins or goes to order their ice cream, and there's so many different flavors, they just look at the menu, and as they're looking at the menu, they can't order. Why? Too many options. And I want you to understand that your new distributors, your new babies in the business, that right now you can present them a menu or you can present them an instruction. Not a menu of instructions, an instruction. I don't present menus to the organization or to the people that I'm working with. Now, you say, well, Holton, I thought that this was a free business. It is a free business. A person can do the business however they choose to do the business. But I also have an option, and my option is to teach the business the way that I teach the business. So that when you have selected me as your coach and mentor through the process of building the business, I'm going to give you an instruction, not a menu. I'm going to give you an instruction, not a menu. So one of the foundations of being able to double is to be able to focus, follow one course until successful. Let me give you another example of being able to focus. Let me share with you one of the things in Organo that we have done that has kept it simple. Remember, I'm sharing with you how to go from the 95% to the top 5%. From the 95% to the top 5%. And when you look at it, the 95%, there's so many people in the 95%. And you're probably thinking because there's a mass number of people that it must be so difficult. It's the opposite. It's so easy. It is so simple to become a top 5%er because the majority of people are competing for mediocrity. That's where the majority of the people are competing for. They're competing for second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth place. Very few people are competing to become the top 5%. You know, I was doing some research the other day because I wanted to share with people how big the opportunity of network marketing is and how big our industry is and how big, how beneficial and lucrative our compensation plan is that we have here with Organo. And as I started to do some research, I wanted to find out what was required for a person to be considered a top 1% income earner in the world. Top 1%. You want to be in the top 1%. Most of you probably already have self-defeated yourself because you're probably thinking that I've got to earn in the millions of dollars just to be in the top 1%. And that's wrong. All you got to do, as soon as you earn $400,000 per year, you are now in the top 1% of income earners in the entire world. $400,000 per year. 1%. So what I'm sharing with you, ladies and gentlemen, is that I want you to be able to clear your mind, because one of the things that it takes to double, if you're going to follow one course until successful, you got to identify what that course is. You're going to also have to eliminate many of the failure images that you have in your mind about what it's going to take to get to where it is that you want to go. I did a post the other day in my social media, and it said that I didn't know what was waiting for me on the other side until I decided to climb up on that mountain and see what was waiting for me on the other side. And what happens is so many people have this fear of what's on the other side, or so many people have this fear of, man, this mountain is so high. It's so high, I've never climbed that high before. If I climb that high, maybe there's not enough oxygen up there for me to breathe. Or maybe the temperature is so cold up there that I may freeze over. Or maybe because it's so high, I'm going to be so lonely that they stay at the base of the mountain and they collect everything that's left over that other people who are those 1%ers have actually left behind, called leftovers. And that's what they live their lives with. No, I'm here to share with you that you're better than that. I'm here to share with you that you haven't been designed to go out in the apple orchard and pick up the apples that are already on the ground. The sweetest of the apples are not the ones that are on the ground. And if you ever notice that apples aren't grown and growing from the trunk of the tree. The sweetest apples are going to be the ones at the highest part of the tree, and they're going to be the furthest out on the limb, which means that the largest risk is associated with the sweetest fruit. And so what happens is why most people can't double is because we say, wow, it's so hard to double. We see this mountain of doubling our income, doubling our volume. We see it as so insurmountable that we don't even try, and we stay right there in the masses, and we perform or we participate with creating what's called a crowd. And many of you know my philosophy about a crowd. Okay? My philosophy about a crowd: observe the masses, but do the opposite. See, anytime I see a crowd, what I'm looking at is, this is what it takes to be average. Now, some of you may get your feelings hurt because you're saying, oh, HB's calling me average. No, I'm not saying you're average. I'm saying, number one, that you're unique. See, average is the sum total and divided by each separate one of what that sum total is. But I'm letting you know that you can't be average. Why? Because there's only one of you. See, I can't take you plus another you plus another you divided by 3, and then now here's the average of you. because nobody else has ever been designed like you. You are absolutely unique. Nobody else has your fingerprint. Nobody else has your retina scan. Nobody else have the DNA that you have. Once you were made, the mold was completely broken, thrown away, so it is impossible for you to be average. Now, here's the thing. It's impossible for you to be average, but nothing is impossible when you look in the mirror and you choose to accept average results. That's something that I can't choose for you. But I know for a fact you're not average. But anytime I see a crowd, what I'm looking at is somebody who's looking in the mirror saying, well, I'm supposed to be like them. And every time you perform in a crowd and you stay in that crowd, what you're doing is you are denying who you really are. You are denying your God-given rights and abilities in terms of the uniqueness that you have as an individual to go out and get on the other side of that mountain. So you can't be average. You shouldn't accept average results. And every time, you know, it's like my son. I tell my son all the time, I say, son, listen, when you go out and you do things, I want you to remember, no matter where you are, no matter what outfit you may have on name brand this, name brand that, all of these different name brands. But there's one brand that you represent every time, and that's Bugs. And I want you to understand that's who you're representing. And I let him know we cannot be misrepresented. So you got to make sure that you represent yourself based off of who you are and where you're from. Because there's certain philosophies that we don't accept. And so you got to identify that same thing. So don't go out there and perform average specifically on things that are very important to you. Because when you're doing that, what you're doing is you're saying that the brand that you were actually created with, you're denying it. And I don't think it's a proper or wise thing to deny that. So number one, you're going to have to clear your mind of all of the failure experiences that you've actually had. You're going to have to clear your mind of those things. Now, it sounds easy, but it's not as easy to do as it is for me to teach or talk about. And what do I mean by clear your mind? Now, one of the things that you can't do is that we don't have a product, you know, like our OG, our DX that we have, our detox. That detox is designed, you drink the detox, shake it up, put it in your water bottle. Next thing you know, it's gonna cleanse you. It's gonna take a lot of the impurities that we have that are in our cells. It's gonna completely cleanse you of a lot of bad cellular information that you have. I can have Dr. Bob or Marianne Noe talk more on that because I'm not the one who's the expert on that stuff. But that's what it's gonna take. But we don't have a product that you can take that's gonna cleanse your brain of all of the toxic thought processes that you have. See, if we develop that product, I think everybody on this call would be the next Triple Crown ambassador. But that's not a product that we have. So you're going to have to be able to cleanse your mental space. I'm going to talk to you about that. Some of the business building strategies that I'm going to talk about, you'll get in session 2, 3, and in 4, I'm going to talk to you about the real big picture, how to not only be a builder, but how to be what I call the dream builder in session 4. Session 4 is so critical that we're going to have on how to become a dream builder, okay? Because some of us are here right now when we sell products. Some of us here, we sell ideas. Some of us are here, we are building or maintaining or developing a team, motivating, developing, sustaining a team growth. And then that 4th category of leadership and organo is going to be the dream builder. The dream builder is the one who gets paid the most amount of money. The dream builder. We'll talk about that. But the cleansing process is necessary. Why? Because if you're not going to cleanse the palate, you're not going to realize the full effect of whatever methodology you're going to use. You've got to cleanse the palate. So when I go to eat sushi, what they do is that they give you, if you've ever seen it, they give you the wasabi and the ginger. Well, what is the ginger for? Most people say, well, it's to make your wasabi and your soy sauce taste really good. Ginger, when you eat it, it cleanses the palate so that when you try another sushi that is different from the other one, you're not mixing the flavors. Why? Because when you mix tuna and you mix albacore or you mix it with yellowtail or whatever it is, now you're not experiencing the whole flavor. You're mixing it up with another flavor that maybe you didn't even like. So in between me eating my yellowtail and me eating my salmon nigiri, I'm going to take me a piece of ginger, chew it up, and it's going to cleanse my palate. So when I get that salmon nigiri, it's pure. So the thought processes that you have, you're going to have to find that ginger that's going to cleanse away your mental palate so that you can start understanding new information. Well, how do you do that? You do it through a process that we call personal growth. Through a process that we call personal growth. Now, here's the thing that I want you to understand, and I want you to get this very, very clearly. Personal growth is not a prerequisite to doubling your volume. It's not. Personal growth is a prerequisite to becoming a dream builder. Personal growth is a prerequisite from becoming a team builder. A team builder and a dream builder, two different purposes. But what is required to double your volume? 2 times the volume. Work. You can be as negative as they come and still double your volume. We've had people who joined the business who were negative in the very beginning. They sponsored people. They've done mixers, and I never forget, I did a mixer one time for a person in Atlanta, Georgia. And this was a doctor. I did it for in Atlanta, Georgia. And she was so negative about the business. And here's what happened. She invited about 15 people. She didn't think anybody was gonna come. And when those people came, she didn't even want them to sign up. We signed up about 9 people that night. She went sapphire in about 4 to 6 days, wishing the people had never signed up. You don't have to be a positive person to get somebody sponsored. So I don't want you thinking, wow, I've got to stop what I'm doing before I prospect another person, and I've got to go read 15 books on personal development. Hogwash. You don't have to do that. That is not what's required. If anybody's told you you've got to develop personally to sponsor a person, no, you don't. Now, maybe if you've been in the business for a long time and you now have to start prospecting and building a new market, building some cold market, and prospect, maybe you're going to have to learn some new skills. But getting started to double, you don't need to grow personally. Now, this is not an excuse for you not to grow, but you don't have to grow personally. But what I want you to do is this. I want you to, at least while we're going through this process, my goal for you is to be a better thinker in session 4 of this success series than you were in session 1. My goal for you is that next week that you have eliminated and cleared some clutter from your mental space. Remember? Because right now, the way you've been looking at the mountain, you're looking at the mountain is so high. You're looking at the mountain is so impossible. Why? Because of all of the clutter, all of the failure experiences and the things that you have around you, or maybe even some of the conversations that you're participating in, or conversations that you're having, or thought processes that you're having, or social media that you're exposed to, or whatever it is that has nothing to do with you doubling. It clouds your brain. It clouds your brain. See, here's the thing. When you're focused, it doesn't matter what takes place to the left, what takes place to the right. Those are not things that you are paying attention to. Let me share with you when it's hard for you to focus and double. When you're doing something that we call rubbernecking. You probably heard Edwin Haynes talk about it, and I'm sure over there in Europe when he came, and I missed that tour. And I tell you, I was talking with Cosmin the other day and about how much I really missed the tour and why I had to miss the tour. And I can't wait to get back out there. I was talking to Cosmin and Cosmos as well, because Africa is another place that I was supposed to go. But I believe, and I'm digressing here, I believe it was one of the best things that possibly could have happened, specifically for Europe. And that's not that I wish that I would have missed it. I don't. This is the second event that I've missed in my 28 years of doing network marketing. One was 2 years ago in Mexico that I had to miss because of a family issue of some of my niece and my nephew. And this one here was something that we had to deal with here that was way beyond my control. But I had to be here in the U.S. Couldn't leave the U.S. or couldn't even leave Houston at that time. I had to be here physically. So, but one of the things I think was the best thing to come out of it is for Edwin Haynes to have gone there, to be a new voice, to let them see something called focus. Because he didn't go there and teach strawberry. He didn't go there and teach raspberry. He didn't go there and teach blueberry. He didn't go there and teach banana nut squash or whatever it was. He went there and he taught sweet cream with pecans and strawberries. And the feedback that I got from those individuals that I spoke to, I think it was confirmation, because see, had I come there and I gave them the same old sweet cream, even though it's the best flavor out there, even though it works, even though the sweet cream with vanilla and strawberries, sweet cream with strawberries and pecans has created multi-millionaires to some people because they're not good at things that are boring. You know what? They sit back. This is the same old sweet cream that he served us last time. But maybe Edwin Haynes came there with a different platter that he gave you the sweet cream from. And what I found better feedback than even when I was there the last time. And I told him that. I said, I think everything works for a specific reason. Okay? Because they were probably looking forward to me coming, giving something new and different. And when Edwin comes and serves the same stuff that I'm going to serve, and he's made millions of dollars, they're looking like, wow, okay, maybe sweet cream with pecans and strawberries, maybe that is the flavor that we should use. You know what I'm talking about. Okay? And so the thing is being able to get yourself and prepare yourself to become better. So next week, I want you to be a better thinker. Next week, I want you to have eliminated some of the distractions, clear your desk and eliminate a lot of these distractions that are out there that are causing you not to be able to focus and double. See, when I am pursuing my goal and when I am pursuing my dream, if I have all of these different elements that have zero to do with me doubling, but they draw my attention, then the distraction is what won. See, I want you to understand. And every time you're pursuing your dream, there's going to be a battle and somebody has to win. All too often, 95% of the time, you lose the battle. And distraction wins. Distraction wins. And you know what distraction's goal is? It's to make sure you don't get to the goal line. It's to make sure you don't score the goal. It's to make sure you don't score the touchdown, or you make sure you don't score the basket. And when you don't score the basket because they distracted you, what happens? You lose. Many of us probably saw the last playoff game when J.R. Smith distracted. Something was in his mind. He's thinking that they're up, but that distraction won, and they lost the game, and Golden State won the game when it could have been a very easy victory for the Cleveland Cavaliers, but one person was distracted. The distractors won. That's who won. But ladies and gentlemen, many of us are sitting around watching competition and watching either the distractor or the victor on television, but that's who's getting paid there. I'm sharing with you, you've got an opportunity to take care of your family for the next several generations. And what I want you to know is that you're on primetime television. See, you think that it's the athlete that should be worthy of primetime television. No, let me share with you who's watching you right now to see if you're the next J.R. Smith, to see if you're the one that's distracted, or to see if you're that one that's laser focused. I want to give you a snapshot right now. I want you to just sit back for a moment, and I want you to listen to me and let me let me share with you who's in the audience watching you play the game called life, using the vehicle called Organo as your platform through life. Let me look and see who's in the audience, who's in the gallery, who's watching right now. Oh, it's your son that hasn't even been born yet, especially for some of you millennials out there. You don't have any children, but your son is watching. He's out there saying, wow, I wonder is my dad going to get distracted by what's happening right here, or is he going to focus and move through this? I wonder is my mom here, is she going to be distracted by what's happening here on social media and something that has nothing to do with Organo? I wonder, is this television program going to be more important than her taking notes from this call right here so she can come back next week and double and make sure that she's got 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 people that she can say, hey, I brought 6 people who was on the call and their volume last week was 2,000 for the week. This week, their volume is 4,000 for the week. Or is that television program going to win the battle? See, maybe it's your granddaughter who's looking. Maybe it's you know who's watching right now? It's your mother. It's your mother who's reached the age of retirement that people call retirement. And because she bought into what was called retirement in America, 65, whereas it's just an age that you can collect a check. And then she's going to realize she doesn't have enough money to live, but she's watching you play the game. Wow. You know, my son and my daughter, they got better information than me. And I'm wondering, are they going to be distracted because I didn't know that I was going to get to this age and run out of money. And I'm hoping right now that they don't get so distracted by what's going on because I'm going to need their assistance. See, that's who's watching. Maybe it's your great-grandfather who's watching. Maybe it's your great-grandson, and you don't even have children yet. See, the way I look at it is this here. I know that at some point in time, I'm going to have grandchildren and great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren, and I don't even know their names right now. But I know that right now, the way I look at it is they're watching me right now, whether I'm going to win the game of distractions, clear out all this clutter, and eliminate all of this negativity of what it takes for me to get on the other side and become the victor instead of the victim. And some of them, when they watch the movie, the end of the movie, you ever see those movies where they cry and it's so disappointing? And you're like, wow, they should have created a different ending. See, is that what your great-grandchildren are going to say about your movie? Are they going to go rewind it and say, let me see, did this really happen? That my grandfather had $20 million on the table of income that he could have had, that he could have been passing on to our generation and changed the entire way that we live. But a program or this right here or that right there, or that negativity or the previous failures that he had in other companies got so embedded into his mind that it stole the dream. That's what happened. And they sit there and they rewind it over and over and over and over and over and over and over, watching you become distracted. This is why I had to learn how to focus. This is why I didn't have any options. Why? Because successful people create the conditions in their mind in order for them to succeed. Ladies and gentlemen, success is nothing more than a mental game. I create all of these conditions and I say to myself, I know they're watching. So when I'm out there prospecting, I say to myself, my son is watching me. I know he's watching. I know he's watching because every time since I joined Organo and we created our pack, every time I would leave the house, here's what my son would say: 100% dad, sign 100% of them up. And every time I was in the living room and every time I was in the den and I walked into a coffee shop or I walked into a conference room, and whether there was one person there or whether there was 5 people there or whether there was 50 people there, all I can hear in my mind is that my son is sitting there, he's watching. He's watching to see if his dad is going to give his best 100% so that he can go out and sign up 100%. See, I didn't have a problem coming back saying, son, you know what? I gave 100%, but today nobody bought. But what I had a big problem doing is saying, son, you know what? I went to the meeting today, and man, I was thinking about, the 4 people that just quit. That was in one leg, and because their coffee, was too sweet. And so I really couldn't focus, and I didn't give such a great presentation, and hopefully the next time I'll be better focused. So I couldn't have that conversation with my son. I couldn't have him look at me and say, Dad, that's the best that you got? That's the excuse that you're coming back home telling me 4 people quit and you're licking your wounds because 4 people in that little small leg of yours just quit? See, those are the conversations that I will play in my mind, because that's what motivates me. It wasn't the money that motivates me. And the majority of you are not motivated by money either. If you were motivated by money, your calendar would be completely full. So don't stop thinking you're motivated by the money. The money doesn't motivate you. You like the money, you want the money, but you've got to create those conditions and find out what's going to allow you to eliminate those distractions to get from this point of that mountain so that you can see what's over on the other side. And I promise you, it's not as hard as you think it is. Clear it out. Clear it out. Why? You're going to start putting some new stuff, some new information in. We're going to give you some new information. I'm going to give you a list of books. It's not going to be on this call here, but I'm going to give you a list of books. Why? Because I want you to have the same mental instruction that I had. When I look back and I see what was a contributing factor to much of the success that happened, it was this: nobody had success before Organo. That was the #1 thing. Their palate was clean. Most of them had so much of that ginger, it seemed like all they did was eat the whole ginger, and they had never had anything else before. And so when we gave instruction, there was nothing else to learn from, and so they follow one course until successful. And what happens invariably, and it happens all over the world, is this is what happens. We get a sign or a taste of success, and then we get cute. What do I mean by we get cute? Well, you know what? I normally drink my coffee like this. But then, I become an emerald. And so I start drinking it like this. Having that little finger out there, or the little pinky finger out there. Getting cute with it. You ever remember teaching your children how to drive, or when you were a kid, your parents taught you how to drive? And what was it? It was 10 and 2. I never forget. My dad taught me how to drive, and I'm so nervous. I'm 10 and 2. 10 and 2. And I get into the car, and I'm the last person in the car, but I'm going to adjust the rear view mirror anyway. I'm going to make sure I adjust the seats and my side mirrors. Why? Because that was the routine. I had never driven before. This is what I did. I'm 10 and 2. I've got my seatbelt on. I've got my feet, my seat pushed up to the proper position, making sure my rear view's ready, checked all my gauges, everything. I'm ready for combat. I'm ready to roll. I start driving. I get a year under my license. Next thing you know, it ain't 10 and 2. It's 12 o'clock. What do you mean? I got one hand like this on the steering wheel at 12 o'clock. And when I want to turn, one hand. Why? I got cute with it. Turn the other way. Got cute with it. Okay. And then we get so cute with it that we get in the car, and now, especially ladies, you know what I'm talking about. You not only can go one hand, you can drive with no hands. You can use that knee, and with that knee, you can hold the steering wheel. You can put on some eyeliner with your right hand, and you can start doing foundation with the left hand, and then you'll use your right finger to send a text message, all while going 70 miles per hour on the freeway. Why? Because you're comfortable with a pattern, but you're not disciplined the way you started. How many of you remember something called a cash cow CD? The new people that's on this call, cash cow, I didn't know we had cows in Organo that had cash. They have no idea what a cash cow CD is. Every diamond in here, not one of you went diamond without hundreds, if not thousands of cash cow CDs going through your organization. See, that was one tool with one set of instruction, one set of information that went through your organization, and it trained all of the people in your organization without you having to be present on everything. You don't even know where to get a cash cow today. You forgot that there was even cash cows. Why do I bring that up? Not for the purposes of just wanting to sell cash cows here, but I'm letting you know we get cute. And the information that's on the cash cow, you know, people will say to me, Holton, why don't you create a new cash cow? Because I'm not trying to be cute. It works. Oh, it's old information. Well, the Bible is old information too. Think and Grow Rich, it's not new information. They didn't create a second edition. Why? The first edition worked. The first edition is sweet cream with strawberries and pecans. There's no version 2. There's no version 3. There's no millennial version. Well, we need a millennial version. No, you don't. Success principles are principles. Okay? They're principles. They're not situational principles. I bring it up, and the reason I brought it up is because I had a gentleman email me the other day, and I get these emails all the time, and he says, you know, first of all, I wish I could pull it up and even read it to you, and I don't even know how, was it an email? Maybe, let me see if I can pull it up here. I know we're about to end this call, but I want to share something with you, because here's the thing here. Let me see here. Let's see. Anyway, but a guy sent me an email. Mr. Bugs, hey, listen, this is such and such. I want to let you know that you have no idea how much your cash cow CD system has helped me and my organization become the #1 group in our company. I've never been a part of your organization, but I followed a lot of your teachings and trainings, and I want to see, can I buy and get cash cows at a group discount if I'm going to order them 500 at a time? Not an organo. This is not one time that I get this. This is not once a year. This is quite often. Why? Because what happens is, see, when you're around the ice cream and you're around the manufacturer of the ice cream, you also take that for granted. But when you're away from it and you see those people with those cones and they've got that sweet cream with strawberry and vanilla, and those ice cream cones just look so good, you start saying to yourself, I wish I can taste the flavor that they're actually using or that they've made on their ice cream cone, and you start coveting it. You want it so bad. You do anything that you can to get it. But once you're around it, if you worked over there at Marble Slab, you start to try all the other flavors. What I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, is I want you to get to a point where you're able to shed a lot of what you do know, so that you can get back to sweet cream, strawberries, and pecans. At least 3 times a month, I get a request for orders. As a matter of fact, throughout the history of us having that, the majority of individual orders came from people who are not in Organo. They're not even in our organization. They're not. I had a buddy of mine call me up, and maybe I've shared this story here. And I want you to understand it, and the reason I'm sharing this is because I want you to understand that so many of us are looking for a sweeter cream. Because why? The sweet cream doesn't taste as sweet anymore. Can you add a little bit more to it? No, it's sweet enough. But a guy called me up the other day from Florida, a good friend of mine. And we were in network marketing back in the year 2000. I admired him, and we've remained friends ever since then. He's built a pretty large traditional company now, not in the MLM space. And he called me up, and he calls me. He says, man, HB, listen, I got to tell you a funny story. I say, talk to me, Clay. What's happening? He says, man, I had a guy who really admires me, and I kind of coach him and mentor him, but he's a top earner in his company. He's now his volume has reached over $1 million a month, and he started to ask me would I look at his training methodology, come to one of his trainings, and critique him. And so my friend Clay says, yes, I'll do it for you. So I'll go and I'll be incognito and I'll come to one of your trainings. He says, because I want to share with you what I'm doing so that you can kind of coach me and guide me as to whether I should be doing something a little bit different. And so as he's telling me the story, he said that he went to the training, sat down, and he says what they did when they were ready to get the meeting started, somebody edified this gentleman. This gentleman got up, and the first part of their training, it's 10 minutes. This is what they do. He says, this is what they've been doing. He had no idea what was about to take place. He said they turned the lights off for the first 10 minutes of their Saturday training, and they played a 10-minute clip. I think it's a 10 or 15-minute clip of how to launch by Holton Bugs when I did a special presentation for someone in Vegas. Another wasn't a company, but it was someone else in Vegas, which is right now I believe it's the most watched video that they've ever produced. He says, this is what we use to get every one of our business people started. And when we started using this right here, our volume has gone from 40,000 to now over 1 million because everybody uses this how to launch video. And I'm guilty as well. I've never used it. It's a 15-minute segment, How to Launch by Holton Bugs. It's out there on YouTube. It's not my page, but you'll see they've actually framed it for their company. It's what they use. And Clay started, he was in shock. And he never told the guy that he knew me at all, but he had to call me and tell me, he says, Bugs, I don't know if you know the impact that this video has, but it's taken somebody from 40,000 to over $1 million in volume. It's not the only thing, but this is what they use to train their people. And so what I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, is that the sweet cream, the strawberries, the pecans, it's still here. But so many of us have been focusing on the blueberry and all those other flavors out there. What I need you to do is I need you to get ready to launch. I need you to get focused. I need you to trust the process and trust the buy-in. Okay? I need you to do that. I need you to be willing to not get back to basics. Just keep it basic. If you keep it basic, you'll never have to get back to the basics. You know, Will Smith always told his son, he says, listen, be ready so you never have to get ready. Be ready so you never have to get ready. And that's what I want us to do coming into call number 2 for next week. There's a couple of announcements that I want to make of some things that are taking place. Obviously, next Sunday, the same time, we're going to have the part 2 to our success series in June. Today is just laying the platform, getting rid of some distractions, understanding that the climb from point A to point B on the mountain is not as bad, it's not as big, and it's not as troublesome as you think. But next week here, we're going to get into some different things so that is going to be not so much personal development, but some tactical things of what you're going to have to do from the very beginning. Okay? But a lot of things are going on right now. I know that Saturday, July 7th, over there in Nigeria, I think it's going to be in Lagos, Nigeria. We have one of our diamonds, Harry Benjamin, Dr. Harry Benjamin, creating 1,000 millionaires is the idea that he's got, and there's a big event that they've got July 7th. So the venue is Excel Event Center. So if you are there in Nigeria, if you have people or if you know people in Nigeria, I want to make sure that you get there. Nigeria is killing it right now. It's growing fast. Edwin Haynes just left there, and it's never been the same. It is absolutely growing. Another event that's taking place that I want to go ahead and announce is we've got a Super Saturday that's taking place in Philadelphia. It's going to be June the 9th, and we're going to have no other than Blue Diamond, a gentleman who's earned millions and millions of dollars with Organo, Mr. Super E. Emmanuel, Super E. Bernstein on June the 9th. That will be there in Philadelphia. Make sure that you look that up. Anybody that you have within a 3, 4, 5 hour drive, promote the event to them. Don't think that they have to be in Philly. I can tell you this. People know this, and I've said it all the time. Before Super E became a distributor in Organo, I have always admired him. He had more success than I had previous to my Organo business, and I looked up to Super E, and I still do. Just because he's a part of my organization doesn't mean I look down. I still look up to him because of the accomplishments and what he had done. You're talking about a guy who's an incredible trainer, who knows what to do, who knows how to get it done. Make sure that you get people in that particular meeting that he's going to be doing. I believe, even though I don't have the messaging here, I believe there's also going to be a Super Saturday, June 9th, that's going to take place with Cesar Munoz, Carla Marin, new diamond over in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm hoping that I'm right on this right here. Yep, I actually just got it. Super Saturday. Next Saturday is going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. Guys, if you pay attention, in Atlanta, Georgia, we've been having new diamond, who's been going there lighting fires. Why in the world wouldn't you build your team to put people in Atlanta, Georgia? Don't say, well, I don't have anyone. Put together a task force. Who do you know in Atlanta? Start building a business there. You've got Cesar Munoz, Carla Moran. You just had Hanoi, who was over there. You just had some other diamonds who was over there as well, and a bigger rotation. And guess who else is going to be going to Atlanta, Georgia? Yours truly. Yours truly. He says, hey, listen, HB, I want to save you so that you can, anchor this tour that we've got going over there. Brand new Emerald Consultants, Daniel and Talita Camaro, who are leading that market. That market is growing like weed. Make sure that you put people in that market. Now, if you're on the Spanish, if you're on the speak Spanish and understand Spanish, what I want you to do is make sure you listen to the Spanish Millionaire Mentorship call tonight. The very first call that Carla Moran has ever done will be tonight on the Spanish call, and she is going to light it up. I know that there's a lot of other events that are out there. Now, here's the other thing. On the 16th, I have to give you another one. Very big event that's taking place that's going to happen in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Yours truly, HB in the house. I'm going to be there in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I'm going to be doing a Super Saturday that's going to be there. Ladies and gentlemen, that market has been growing. Listen, Minnesota, all the surrounding areas, all of you who are around that area, I'm counting on you to be there. I don't care if you've got to get on a plane. I don't care what you've got to do. Let me share with you a story of what happened the last time I was there. Last time I was there in Minnesota, it was an opportunity meeting. And down in the Nielsen's group, down throughout Dwayne Klein's also, we've got an organization of Amish people, and I tell you, I love them. I know they're probably not on this call here because they don't use technology, but they don't even drive. They hired people to drive them from Wisconsin all the way with them and their guests to come to Minneapolis, Minnesota, because they understand the value of information. And some people were right across the street and they couldn't come because why? Distracted. Make sure that you come. Also, what's going on today, I got to give a big thumbs up to Rigu, to Esther, to Blanca, to Kim Bean, to all of the female diamonds that are over there on the West Coast. And I'm sure I've missed some names, but there is a WIN event that took place today. It may be over right now. There's a huge schedule of WIN events that's coming up, but my wife, Erlene Buggs, has been leading that. She is so passionate about those WIN events. So make sure that you participate with these WIN events that are taking place. Let me give you the schedule of what happened. Of what's going to take place. June the 17th, I think there's going to be one in New York. Make sure that you check with the New York leaders to verify the location of those events. July 8th, Querétaro, Mexico, and July 28th, there will be one in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, so the next 3 weeks, I want you to prepare for those particular events, ladies and gentlemen. Make this week and next week absolutely exceptional. Make it exciting. It is absolutely happening right now. I can't wait to share part 2 with you guys. And remember, it's easy, it's simple, it's Organo. See you guys on the next call. Goodbye, everybody.